Heyo everybody, Haku here with HaQ&A 66. So gonna have a quick few minutes of discussion on things from the comments the past 2 weeks. Now what I'm thinking is that since I did it every 2 weeks for like the past 2 times I've done a HaQ&A, that may or may not work better. If I get a week where I get a bunch of comments, then I'm gonna do it like in 1 week. I'll just have it up the next Friday. Of course, this is supposed to be up Friday, but I'm not recording it until Friday, so it'll be up Saturday. But you get what I'm saying. But I guess like if I don't get as many comments, I'm just gonna gonna skip a week and do it on the second week. But if I get a lot of comments that week, I'm gonna do it every week. It all depends, and I am still getting a lot of comments. It's just that a lot of things are things that I've already gone over, or a couple people asking or saying about the same thing. So I don't want to overdo one of the same topic too much. Of course, if it's something we haven't talked about in a while, I'll go over it again and stuff. Or if it's something a lot of people are wanting to talk about, I'll go over it more, of course. I just don't want to do too much of the same thing. Since this is getting recorded Friday, I'm not going to post it until Saturday, but I did edit the next Musuko ga Kawaii Day read through, so I'm planning to post that tonight on Friday night. So that should be already up by the time you're watching this. So if you're interested in that, the second read through video for that is up. Before we get into the comments in the general section, for the bonus thing this week, I'm just going to throw in the some thoughts on waifus this season. Now, it's not going to be super long. I'm not going to go through like every show that I'm watching. Just some thoughts on some ones I like from some certain shows, and to throw out the question and ask you, who are your waifus this season? Who is best girl this season? Because there are a couple that are up there for me. First off, some ones I thought about when thinking of best girl for this season. From Action Hero and Cheer Fruits, I really like Genki and Yuki. I'm not sure which one I like best. Genki I like because, I don't know, I think her personality is probably the funnest to me, except for Akagi-an, of course, in Action Hero and Cheer Fruits. But I like Genki a lot, and she's, of course, got the Katawa Shoujo thing going on. I'm not sure what actually is wrong with her, but she has some sort of physical disability, because, of course, she has to use a cane to walk around or use a wheelchair. And then, of course, Yuki, I like that she's like I think they're twins. I know that Yuki is the younger one, I think, but I'm pretty sure they're twins, because they look exactly alike. But I like Yuki as well, how it's a similar thing, but instead of a physical disability, she has issues with anxiety and depression and stuff, so it's sort of like a psychological issues that she's having. So I like Genki and Yuki a lot as characters this season, but also kind of best girls. Also, in that one fan service shot at the most recent episode, Mikapyon is stacked. Like, wow, I did not expect that from Mikapyon. Also, the pink girl whose name I'm forgetting, something with an H, like Hatsumi, something like that. Pink girl's pretty nice too. I thought she was hilarious. I like the most recent episode a lot. From Battle Girl High School, Mimi is great. Mimi is my favorite, my best girl. But she does need more attention and screen time because we've barely seen anything about her. From Centron and Naomi, ever since the beginning, you guys know if you've been watching my reviews week to week, Kyoko has been my favorite, my waifu, everything. But Sasasul every week is making me question that decision, so I don't know if I like Kyoko or Sasasul more now. From Hina Lojai is probably my choice for the season's best. I think my favorite this season might be Mahiro from Hina Lojai, but I love Karin from Hina Lojai as well, so that one's kind of close. Isekai Shokudo, pretty much every female character is nice. I mean, the dragons are great, the princess is great, the 36-year-old virgin, she might be the besto though, I really like her. From Kakegurui, I wanted to throw in here because it's a weird one. It's like, every female character is sexy until they start making weird, crazy, insane faces, which all of them do, and then none of them are. So it's like, all of them are attractive, and yet none of them are attractive at the same time, because they're all insane. So Kakegurui is in this weird territory of insanity. Knights in Magic, or Traps in Magic, or Knights in Waifu. I really like Helvi, but Ernesti is top Otokonoko, and also the new Elf Queen, not the Elf Queen, because they're the elves from Alfheim, but the Elf Queen or whatever her name was. I don't even think she was really the queen, but she's the one they went and spoke to. She was pretty click as well, pretty string of emojis in there. Also, Nanamaru Sanbatsu Fukami is another candidate up there with Mahiro for best girl of the season, because Fukami is the best sweaty nerd of all the sweaty nerds in Nanamaru Sanbatsu. Then Princess Principal, my girl Beatrice. I forgot about her when I was thinking about this earlier, but my girl Beatrice, Robot Girl, she's another one, probably top 3 for the season up there with, or actually, I'm going to go ahead and say she's my favorite this season, and probably second place is, I don't know, maybe Mahiro, or it could even be Kyoko even, or Genki from Action Hero When Cheer Fruits. Maiden Abyss, though, Maiden Abyss is difficult. I was expecting from the beginning, I was going to be like, okay, Nanachi is best girl. And then Nanachi hasn't shown up and we're 8 episodes in. I think maybe they'll show up in the next episode or 2, so they're only going to be there for 3 or 4 episodes. But I'm going to just go for Marulk. I know Marulk is gender questionable, gender questionable, but Marulk, best girl for right now. Tenchi no 3P, Sora is top lolly, best lolly. And Nozomi, probably the best looking, but Sora, top lolly. So yeah, that's it. If I were to say any of them, my girl Beatrice. I'm giving Beatrice best so far of the season, but Mahiro's up there in a close second. And the next one I think of is probably Genki or Kyoko. One of them is probably the next. Fukami is up there as well, but I don't know. So it depends on like how recently I watched Nanamaru Sanbatsu, because like right after I watch an episode, I'm like, yeah, I love this, and then a couple days later, I'm like, it's okay. So I feel like I'm that way with a lot of shows, though. I'm like really hyped up about them right after I watch, and then a couple days later it sort of fades, and then I watch the next episode and I get really hyped about them again, and that's sort of just my cycle of watching shows. But moving on from that, quicker than some beginning discussions, we have 2 questions that I put in the little general section here. One because it is just a general anime question, and one because it was about Pokemon, which is nothing really is getting spoiled by that, and I didn't want to make its own separate section. So first up, Tranquilla Diamond said, I think Hoenn had the best starter trio, and I would agree there with that, because I like all 3 starters in Hoenn. Torchic's probably my least favorite of the 3, but I still really like Torchic and Blaziken and even Combusken. And of course my favorite starter of all time is Trico, of course. And then Marshtomp is great as well. Mudkip, I use Mudkip a lot. So yeah, I like all 3, and I don't really know if I can say that for most generations. And even with the ones that I do like all 3 starters, I don't like them as much as I like all 3 for Hoenn. So I think Hoenn had the best starter trio as well. And then Seek210 with the general anime question said, for anime openings, I actually really enjoy Yokai Apartment and Recreators. I can't wait to read more Elf Zombie Yasararanai, and I've been enjoying the chapters and the read-throughs. Have you seen the list for the fall anime season yet? And after, I did look at it before you said this, but I looked at it again after this comment to look at it, to get some fresh eyes and see all what was announced, if anything new was announced. And I've looked at it, and like, a few things look like, I see them and I'm like, okay, I'll probably watch that. But like nothing stands out where it was like a few things this season, a good few things last season. Nothing really stands out like those where I'm like, okay, I'm definitely 100% watching it. So yeah, there are plenty of things that I'm like, I'll watch, but nothing really stands out. And I wanted to bring this up here because I wanted to see what you guys think I should watch, if you have any suggestions, if you know what's going to be coming on next season, or I'm going to pick 1 or 2, maybe even 3 shows next season to review, since we have 3 that we're reviewing this season that I'm not going to be reviewing next season because they're ending. So yeah, 1 to 3 new shows we're adding for next season to the channel, so if you have any suggestions, of course throw them out. But what I'll probably do is I'll probably wait an episode or 2 in and see what I really, really enjoy. Because, I mean, like Princess Principal, I wouldn't have started reviewing it if I didn't watch the first episode or 2 and be like, I really, really think this is good and worth reviewing. So, yeah, just any suggestions. Also, it looks like so far, I know there's weeks left, there's probably still going to be some more shows that are announced or added or whatever, because anime happens to do some stuff last minute sometimes. It's different than American TV in a bit of a way. But I think that next season, the amount of shows they've announced is like less than half of what's airing this season. So if within the next 4 or 5 weeks they're announcing as much as already has been announced altogether, unless that's the case, then we're probably going to have less shows next season. And it makes sense because it's fall rather than summer. But yeah, it just seems weird that many fewer are airing. And I don't know how many of them I'm going to watch, because I kind of want to step back, because I'm watching like 20 some to 30 shows this season week to week, and I think I want to step back from week to week a little bit next season so that I can marathon some older shows. But yeah, other than that, I guess that's it. So yeah, if you have anything you wanted to suggest, or anything that I either watch or cover, or watch and potentially cover if I like it, then go ahead and tell me, because right now nothing really sticks out in particular to me. Okay, next up is our first section. It's Boku no Hero Academia. So starting off, A.V. Burns said, based on the title of the episode, talking about the anime, I thought we were getting a flashback episode, so I was glad that we had some present day action with the students. I had to rewatch the exposition scene, it was a lot of info, and the one where All for One was talking about regenerating, but that info really expands the world of the show, taking it away from just the students. Really looking forward to the students versus the professionals battles. Yeah, I think what's really good about that is the show in general so far, and that episode did really well at it had a good balance and pacing, where no episode so far has just stuck with one thing so deeply that it negatively affected everything else. It had a good balance and pacing where it gave us the Quirk's backstory, and it still progressed the individual character stories a bit too. Just seeing the class interact, for me, gives a lot of the smaller characters and even the bigger characters, it builds relationships, it gives the characters more information that's gone into developing how they react and act in situations. So I think that's all been done really well. And I'm excited for the rest of the season, but when it ends, it's going to be a real struggle waiting for Season 3, I think. Next up, Gal Anonime said, I am so totally amazed and happy after this chapter. Mirio delivered. I loved it. I loved the crazy kick through Eddie's head into Chrono's face. I loved how he played some multi-dimensional pinball with the two expendables, destroying them like some weak bitches. And that last page, probably the most epic in this arc. Yes, I'm a fanboy of Mirio, and as a fanboy, I'd give the chapter a 10 out of 10. For me, I thought it was really enjoyable to watch Mirio's fighting style here. And I think having him win the fight so quickly and easily and catch up to Chisaki so quickly was a really great way to convey his combat strength to the audience, because we've been told, or it's been said at least in the story, that he's supposed to be stronger than most pro heroes even when it comes to combat ability, even though he's just a student. So this shows us that Mirio really, really is great in a combat situation. I guess I don't want to say it's a specialty, because we haven't really been told it's a specialty, but we can kind of infer that given that he's so good when it comes to combat. And it's because his quirk is really great for combat. If your opponent can never hit you, then you're delivering, even if you only hit small damage on them, you're damaging them and they can't hit you back. It's a good combat quirk, I would say. And then lastly for the section, very nice, said, the translations are very bad lately. I recommend going back and reading the official scans. They come out a week delayed, but they're very faithful to the original and never feel confusing. Enjoyable chapter overall. I do agree with that. I think a lot of the things in the translation of the past couple weeks, and just a little bit in this arc, they felt a little bit vague and awkward, and I've praised the translation a lot, especially in earlier arcs. It's great, and it's still great, but there have been some things that have been vague and awkward lately. And though the translation hasn't been totally perfect either, but I don't totally blame it, because I feel like the actual page-by-page style of storytelling this arc has been weird. Like, the layout of the chapters page by page, something's just been weird this arc, where it's felt a little bit confusing and jumbled at times. Like, the way that everything was set up and the things that we jumped to and watched, I just, I don't know. So I don't totally blame the translation. I think this has kind of been an off arc. It's been good, don't get me wrong, but I think the way it was written has just been kind of a little weird. So yeah, it's like the translation's not perfect, and I think the manga being a bit weird lately has led into the translation being a bit vague and awkward lately. I do check both of the unofficial translations right after I read through for the video, though, and I gotta say, if you're reading the manga stream one, just go read the Fallen Angels or Jaimini's box one, because it is still way, way better than the manga stream one. Next up is a very short little Monmusu section, and Seek210 said, "It's nice to see Giant Sue again, and this time she's facing the other big slime. It was also nice to get more info on the slimes and how they can absorb one another. I still think at the end they're going to find out that the company is, or what the company's truly after the whole Sue fight. Same here, the company still seems really sketchy, of course, especially since they're doing all this illegally, circumventing the law and stuff. It really does seem like, even if they're not like super evil, generic evil corporation that you see in something, a fictional work, it doesn't mean that they're completely on the up and up either. Also, the giant slime, to me, I think it's probably somebody who knows and or cares about Sue, like possibly a parent, possibly a sibling. I think it'd be interesting if they were part of the same division, and the difference between Sue and this other slime girl is the difference in what they learned and absorbed. I think that would be a really cool concept. Deshaun Gamble as well, though, said, "My favorite Sue moment in the series is her fight with Key, so seeing Giant Sue make a return makes me happy. Giant slime fight next chapter, get hype." For me, my favorite Sue moments are when her personality changes, though. Like when she ate the poisonous plants that time, or when she played in the ocean, or got in the hot springs. Those, to me, are my favorite Sue moments. But that's it for the Monmusu section, and let's move on. Next up, we have Elf-sama Yasarara Nai, and Seek210 said, "I really like Raika, and it's hard to pick a best girl. I like them all. They all have something that makes them best girl. It's pretty funny how Erufuda has fries in her pockets, and how she's always arguing with everyone. I also like chapter 7. Oku was really cute, and it was hilarious how Kuroeda and Erufuda tried to race each other even though they didn't know how to swim. And yeah, I think that you're right. They all have things that make them best girl. They're all adorable. I really like every character. Erufuda is still my favorite, I think, though, because she's just so funny, and she's attractive as well, but I think that she's the funniest character. She is definitely my waifu. But it's also hard to not say that Raika's the best, though, because Raika can be your wife, she can be your dog, she can be either, she can be both, as I've said many times. Raika's just, I don't know. I really like Raika's personality a lot as well. But yeah, it's difficult. I like everything about Raika. There is not a thing I dislike about her. But Erufuda is just too funny to not be my favorite. I love Erufuda. Seek210 also said about the next chapter, another great chapter, and I love the comedy throughout the manga, and it's nice to have the lolly of the group in Hobi-chan. It was pretty funny and cute how Oga was tricked to believe Hobi's lies and was still asking how to be a mother. I really liked Oga before this chapter, chapter 8, a lot, but chapter 8 just made me like Oga so much more, because at first, Oga, click, thick design, but beyond that, we didn't have too much about her personality beyond she likes to drink, and I mean, that's not exactly the most attractive thing, but just seeing the sort of kind, motherly side of her in chapter 8, I thought it was really, really cool, and it made me like her a whole lot more, because it gave some substance just beyond her looking good and having a good-looking design. It gave some substance to her character and who she was just beyond. Before that, we only kind of knew that she liked to drink. Now we know a lot more about her. So yeah, that was great for a character, and that's it for that section. Next up, we have our Musco section, and I'm just abbreviating it to that because I cannot remember the entire name. Let me try it though. Muska ga kawaikite shikita ganai something no hahaoya. Yep, I was pretty close. I missed a word in there. Yeah, missed a word in there, but I was pretty close. But Andrea Zapita said, Demon Mom, yay. And yes, Lorem is insert string of suggestive emojis here. Very, very the best mom. Seek210 said, I love the sister, she's pretty funny, the mom too, and how she dotes on her son. I also wonder how from the comments on the manga side, who is the father? For me, yeah, Miri is my favorite character personally. I love the series already, though it's really fun. And as for who Gospel's father is, if I were to make a guess, I would guess that whether they're human or demon, I think it was possibly somebody really, really responsible and stuff. Since we see that Lorem all growing up, I feel like if they were responsible, it kind of maybe takes away from her. Like, there are two options with that. I think that maybe they were somebody really responsible and they died or went away or whatever happened, and Lorem had to step up and be responsible now that she's there to raise her son. She doesn't have his help to raise her son. Or it could be like she was that delinquent when they met and he sort of like softened her up, and then they had a son and then she lost him, and he had an effect on her, making her more responsible. That kind of takes away a little bit from her own initiative though, of her saying, I need to make this change and stop being a delinquent so I can raise my son. But I don't know. Also, we don't even know that Gospel has a father necessarily. I mean, we don't know how demons reproduce. They could just reproduce asexually, or we don't know at all. We don't even know if Lorem just maybe found Gospel and adopted him or something. I mean, she said she produces breast milk, so of course, well, maybe all demons do that. I don't know. We don't know if Medi does. But you get the point. We don't really know at this point. Hell if I know any of this. But yeah, my guess is maybe if he does have a father and we're going to learn about him, it's maybe somebody responsible, and we're going to see how they changed Lorem's life before they went away, whether they died or just left. And that's it for that section, actually. Next up, we have Centaur Nanayami. 2 comments, I think. Deshaun Gamble first said, I'm glad the show taught us how centaurs put on pants. Seriously, that was a mystery for me ever since I started watching the series. I also completely missed the Madoka reference. Yeah, the pants, though, to be able to fit on a centaur's body and still like be snug around the waist or whatever, they have to be very, 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 very elastic. But then it's a series with people with wings and horse butts, so I can't really complain about clothes not being realistic. And then Xeron Arcanasis said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic as a reference to Clarke's third law. Also, Shino's dressing sequence was surprisingly un-fanservice-y, and if I was Sue's dad, you'd have to physically restrain me to stop me from spoiling her rotten. She's way too adorable. Thank you. I gotcha with that first thing. And then, Shino's dressing scene was like wholesome fan service. It's like, you watch it and you're like, oh, that's not sexual at all, and you don't think it's sexual at all. But then when you think about it, you're like, that was technically a naked centaur lolly. You're like, maybe that was fan service. Maybe that was lewd. Also, yeah, Sui is very much a Dotaru in need of protecting, but I actually kind of like, I don't know, I guess it's me. I kind of think the Cheesters or Chitachi or Chichans, I think the cheese are cuter. The cheese. So yeah, that would be it for that section, actually. Now, last section this week is the Tower of God section, and first up is Anime Watcher, who says the hidden floor is pretty much hype for me. I also love seeing the backstory for Wangnan, since he's my second favorite Tower of God character. I wonder how many people were teleported into the hidden floor besides Bomb. For me, I'm hoping that everyone except Karaka and Yuri were transported. I've got this sinking fear that Siyu is somehow going to shove Yuri and Karaka into the hidden floor arc, but I just really hope not, because of course there aren't supposed to be rankers there anyway. and I really think we need a break from having rankers in the main story, so I really hope Karaka and Yuri were not transported there. I could also see CU possibly excluding Beta and Joaquin. Beta's not technically a regular, but he isn't a ranker, of course, so I think he's perfectly fine. I mean, I doubt CU would leave him out since he's just going to be in Kuhn's Lighthouse, being his Enacor partner pretty much the whole time anyway. I could see him leaving Joaquin out, though, because Joaquin's in this weird place where White, I think White was a ranker, but Joaquin is technically a regular, which is why he's allowed to take tests and go through the training and stuff. It's like the 5 siblings that made up White aren't a ranker, but I think White was. So that could be a reason that possibly I could see CU leaving Joaquin out, but I doubt he would, because Joaquin is knocked out, so I don't know. He could always potentially be not in this arc, but I think he will be. I'm just hoping Yuri and Karaka. I'm hoping they're left out. And then, oh wow, lastly already? This is going to be a hell of a long one though, but here we are. Gal Anonim said, I'm glad that Bam and Kuhn know that something is definitely wrong with Rachel and Andrasi too. I really enjoyed Wangnan's past too because I've been waiting for it. Definitely a few years now. I had 2 theories about this chapter on our Facebook group, but since the whole text would be really bothersome to translate, I'm only going to write about them. It's about the nannies, which aren't nannies, but actually raise princess in different places of the tower. It seems Karaka had one too, right? And the mysterious guy took the body of Wangnan's one. This theory is, a stretch. Probably too much, but there may be some kind of hidden movement inside the tower that cultivates and gathers Zahard's discarded sons to overthrow him or something. Why? Well, Zahard's sons are discarded, thrown like trash into various places in the tower. One could think it's because Zahard's afraid of getting his throne taken by one of them, that's why he sends them away, lets them make a living, support with his servants, and then kills them. But the second theory kind of merged with that one, is Zahard creates seemingly safe backgrounds for his son, sends them away, and it's all in different places because we've never seen 2 or more princes raised together. It's to make it look convenient, create externals, then he organizes accidents in which the sons die to make it not look suspicious. For example, in Wangnan's case, the whole district or floor got destroyed, and it's not only a prince himself, but since the nanny rescued Wangnan and the weird guy showed up, I made my first theory. It's pretty messy, and probably I noticed that I have a lot of English words I don't know. P.S. Once again, Andrasi is complete day. For me, I'm sorry, but I don't think this at all. I think that there's no real reason for an underground movement to be against Zahard other than FUG, and if they were against him, they wouldn't really have the princes or have the rings to give them at age 10, since the ring is half the key. If anything, I would say the princes are involved, or if there is a group behind the princes and stuff, which there obviously is, it's something that's working with Zahard, because they're given half the key, and it seems to me like it's probably used to keep people, just like the princesses in the 13 months are set up to keep the key from falling into anyone else's hands so that nobody can get to a floor higher than Zahard. I think it's the same thing. He was like, what if somebody did unite the princesses and get the key? That would be bad. Well, I'll only give them half. I'll give the other half to the princes with these rings, and it's just keeping the key even more spread apart and making it even harder for people other than Zahard to get to. So my guess is that the guy that collected the body, and even the mother or whatever, are probably part of RED, or somebody who works for one of the 10 families, or the nanny, mother, whatever, could actually be a princess herself. So that's always a possibility. Or you know what? No, never mind, that theory doesn't work. I was like, what if a princess had a kid, and because the kid had Zahard's blood because of that, if a princess had a kid, since she was infused with Zahard's blood, what if it would make the kid look like Zahard, and that's how the princes end up there? But that wouldn't make sense, because then then Anak would look like that. But yeah, either way, I would say it's definitely people working with Zahard, because working against him using the princes doesn't really make any sense. And yeah, if they were, then Karaka wouldn't need to be with FUG anyway. So I definitely think that they are a group working with Zahard, because there's no reason for them to work against them. But either way, that would actually be it. So, either way, gonna try to hurry up, edit this quickly because it didn't take too long to record, and have this up Saturday. So either way, like if you did like the video, and comment down there to tell me what you thought of this week's HaQ&A, what you thought of all the other stuff. If you have anything to answer to any of this, like I said, what are your favorite waifus this season? Or there's one other thing that I asked. Oh yeah, any anime suggestions for next season? Any of that would be good to know down in the comments. Like if you did like the video, of course. Subscribe for any more of this and more. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there, talk to you there, whatever. If you want a link to the Discord, I am leaving one down in the comments, of course. And if that's expired, because they expire after a day, because I don't want to do an unlimited link, because, you know, then somebody could just use it to spam or something. So yeah, if you want a link, just ask for one if the one in the comments is already disabled or expired or whatever. That's it. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see you all next time.